So this is my first video in probably about a month, but I hope to make a lot more videos soon because I'm using my digital camera a lot more, and I've got a new webcam that I'm going to try to hook up, and I got a new computer, a Mac Mini, which is really cool, and I've got a great webcam over there, but it doesn't have internet yet. It's sort of hard to upload videos without internet. So when I do get that, I'll be making videos like crazy, but the only problem is, as you may have noticed last year, I go away for the summer, go up to a lake, and that's in July, and I don't come back until late August. So another hiatus in there. But so yeah, I'm gonna get a new camera for this computer because I know you guys complain about the sound. So I can hold the microphone up here. Really wanted to, but I have all the sound at max, and I can hear fine on 3 different computers. Although it is quieter than most videos, but I'll try to work on that. So today I have something I'm sure you're not gonna like, but I feel like doing it anyway because I like to read, so I'm going to do some book reviews. A lot of you guys don't read. I mean, there were a couple people who actually enjoyed the book review last time I did it, but most of you just had negative comments about how stupid reading is and it makes you dumb, and that doesn't make any sense. You don't even have to think about it for it to make sense. Reading makes you a lot less ignorant, just opens your eyes to different views. So, anyway, I'm going to start off with this book, Frankenstein. Finished this a few days ago, and I don't see why this book is so great. It was really boring. I was reading it for English, but it was extremely boring. The main character was basically an idiot. He created the creature. It's not really much of a monster. It's not like the Hollywood original. He creates this creature, and he sees it, and then he just ran away for 2 years. And then he sees the monster, and the first thing he says to him is, like, devil or something, because the monster, like, killed his brother because he was angry that his creator ran away. But anyway, then he runs away for, like, another year or two, and in the end, the creature kills, like, everyone, and this book just didn't make sense because he couldn't relate to the main character. And then I read The Invisible Man and Worlds by H.G. Wells. And The Invisible Man was really cool. It was written sort of in the same style as Frankenstein, but it was a lot better. Basically, there's some creature or something going around killing things, but except in this book, the main character was obviously invisible. He found the trick to become invisible, and there was people chasing him all over Great Britain. But it was really interesting. I really enjoyed this book. And then War of the Worlds, on the other hand, is supposed to be this great epic story, but the only reason I think it was so hyped up over is because it happened to be the first alien invasion book ever, which is sort of cool, but it was also sort of boring. It was more boring than it was cool. Like, didn't make sense. Basically, they're just aliens going around smashing things. There wasn't much of a storyline except the main character trying to survive. And the way it was written was also an entirely different style than The Invisible Man, despite being the same author. I don't know, I just did not like the writing style in the second book there. And it was very boring. Next one, Dune. I've had so many people tell me to read this book, and I finally did, and it was sort of so-so. I mean, it was a great book, and the author is obviously brilliant. Some of the things he said just made so much sense. It was a really cool book, and it's a great idea, but again, the writing style throws me off a bit. It's a very slow-paced style, although like fight scenes and action sequences were pretty cool and detailed, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know, this is a good book. I might read Dune Messiah, the sequel, but I don't know, probably like 7, 8 out of 10, I would say. Decent book. This one, Fall of the Kingdom, by Hilari. This book was pretty cool. It was just your basic, sort of generic fantasy in some unknown world with no connection to Earth, and it's interesting the way it's written because you don't really agree with the main character's side. Basically, this kid is slowly working his way through the ranks of the army, and he starts to become a commander. He wasn't even in the army in the first place, but he just slowly takes control. But there's these outside invaders trying to conquer their country of Farsala, and in Farsala everyone's like mistreated. People are tortured, and there's like slaves and stupid laws and ridiculous taxes, and then the Hrum, that's the enemy side, they come in, and they basically have this plan to make everything better. Sure, they conquer them, but they would improve everything. So, as you're reading it, you sort of want the bad guys to win. And it's a trilogy. I'm on the last book right now, halfway through it. Another weird writing style. Good one. I mean, it's very simple, and it's like massive font. This is a 400-page book. The font is like huge, but the way she writes it, it's strange because it doesn't seem like a whole lot is happening. Events are really spaced out. It's all just filled with, like, I don't want to call it fluff, but there's little conversations and short little adventures. It's not a very eventful book. I guess it's more realistic in that sense. But yeah, this is a pretty cool book. Evil Genius. This book I did not like very much. It's one of the few books I've read where I like the main character. Usually when you read a book, like in Hungry City Chronicles, I reviewed that last time, the main character is generic, boring, and dull. Like, usually it's just some shy, antisocial kid, and he goes on an adventure. And that's basically what happens in almost every one of these books that I just reviewed. In this one, he's shy and antisocial, but he's a genius. Not necessarily evil. He's got that title because he's trying to be sort of twisted and misled in his life. And he's brilliant. It's really cool. It sort of reminds me of Ender's Game. But, I mean, like, at first it was really cool, but after a while it just gets really redundant, sort of doing the same sort of events over and over in a different direction, almost. But, I don't know, toward the end it just got really boring, and by the time you reach the climax, you're so sick of the book that you don't honestly care what happens to the main character. I don't know, it could have been a much better book if it were shorter. Sometimes long books aren't the best, but it was interesting, definitely. And then the most recent book I read was Wizard's First Rule by, what's his name, Terry Goodkind, or Goodkind. But that book was fantastic, one of my favorite books of all time, and one of those books where as you start reading it, you get into the first chapter, you know it's going to be a fantastic book, simply because of the writing style. Terry Goodkind is a brilliant author, and that book was the perfect fantasy. Sort of like the Farcical trilogy, it was sort of generic. There's wizards and magic, and the main character gets some sword and goes on an epic journey, but he did such a good job of it that you just look past those things and enjoy the story. And the characters were amazing. You could really relate to them, and it's the sort of character where you feel like you could just walk in the book and have a conversation with them and you would already know them. Other times characters are just sort of bland and dull and lifeless, but not in that book. Wizard's First Rule is amazing. I'd have to say it's my second favorite book after Darkling Plain, which I also reviewed last time. It was really intense. There were tons of plot twists that you could have never seen coming. And there's 12 books in the series, which is fantastic. So I'm definitely going to get those. It's a really long book, but I read it in like 3 days just because it's such a non-stop story you're reading all the time. It was like 800 pages, and of course the next one's 1,000. Luckily I think they get a bit shorter, but that was an amazing book. Out of the books I just reviewed, definitely get that one. Wizard's First Rule is incredible, and if you don't want to read the book, they're making it into a TV show on ABC, and it's going to be 22-hour-long episodes. I'm not sure if they're covering different books or just the first one. I'm assuming it'll be just the first because it's so ridiculously long. But, so like I said, I know you guys don't really enjoy reading, but I think you should try to spread your horizons and give it a try. In other news, so my birthday was yesterday, and I got a lot of cool stuff, mostly books, Mac Mini, like I said, and a unicycle. It's not here yet, it's coming in the mail tomorrow, and it's a 20-inch Torker CX, so it's going to be pretty cool, and hopefully I'll be able to master that soon and make tutorials for it. But before I master it, I'm going to make some videos of me failing, because I'm sure there will be a lot of failing involved in learning to unicycle. Yeah, a lot of falling backwards, and, if you've ever tried to do a wheelie on a bike, if you think that's hard, unicycling I'm sure is a lot harder because it's the same thing, but without the handlebars. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very fun. So right when I get it tomorrow, it's in the mail right now, I'll start filming, and you get to watch me fail. So that's going to be very fun. I'm definitely looking forward to that. So, sorry about the lack of videos lately, but I've been completely addicted to a combination of video games and reading, very odd combination. And crap, there's 5 seconds left, but yep, I hope to make more videos soon, and that's about it. Thanks for watching.